Today, we're not getting philosophical. Nope, we are getting practical. We're talking about a serious upgrade for the most important piece of tech you will ever own, your mind. So, let me ask you this. Does your life ever just feel glitchy? You know, like there's a bug in the system somewhere that you just can't seem to find, let alone fix? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And we can actually put a name to that glitchy feeling. Just think about your phone for a second. When its system crashes, that's what emotional burnout feels like. A battery that drains way too fast? Well, that's just like constant anxiety, totally sucking your energy dry. And all that malware and those pop-ups, those are the negative thought loops that just infect your peace of mind. And that frustrating slow performance, that's the feeling of being stuck, confused, and just not able to move forward. So, what do you do when your phone's operating system gets buggy? You upgrade it, right? Well, it turns out there's a time-tested upgrade for your mind's OS too, and it's specifically designed to fix these kinds of glitches and get you running smoothly again. It's called the Eightfold Path. Now, I know, the name sounds kind of ancient and maybe a little intimidating, but don't let it fool you. The best way to think about it is like a GPS for your mind. You know, when you're lost in a storm of anxiety, or maybe you're just running on autopilot, this path offers 8 super clear directions to get you back to a place of inner clarity. All right, so this whole upgrade process, it starts with the first 2 parts. Think of these as your core mindset settings. This is all about tweaking your inner software, that fundamental way you see and process the world around you. First up is right view. This is just about seeing things as they really are. So say you're heartbroken. Instead of thinking, my life is over, right view is that little shift to, okay, this pain is here now, but it will change, and this doesn't define who I am. The performance upgrade you get is huge. You stop fighting reality, which means you get to acceptance way faster. Then there's right thought, which is basically a mental firewall. Let's say a colleague makes you angry. Right thought is that moment you pause and think, hang on, maybe they're just having a really stressful day. That simple reframe can stop a whole negative spiral in its tracks and prevent a major emotional outburst. Okay, so once you've updated your inner software, it's time to work on the next layer, your ethical action protocols. This is all about optimizing how you interact with the outside world. These are practical rules that just make your life run a whole lot smoother. This group has 3 settings. We start with right speech, which is like a communication filter. It's simple. Commit to speaking truthfully and, not spreading gossip. The result? Way fewer social conflicts, you build more trust, and honestly, it's just less mentally tiring. Then there's right action, which really just means making sure your behavior lines up with your values. That could be anything from choosing products you believe in to just being responsible at your job. The benefit here is a clear conscience and way less of that draining inner conflict. And finally, right livelihood. This is making sure your work doesn't make you feel icky. Refusing a job that relies on deception might be tough in the moment, but the payoff is waking up with self-respect instead of that Sunday night dread. Here's a really powerful way to put right speech into practice, like right now. Before you criticize someone or even yourself, just pause and ask these 2 little questions. Is this necessary? Is it helpful? That's it. It's such a simple filter, but it can literally change everything. And that brings us to the final 3 paths. I like to call these the focus and power boosters. So if the first parts were about fixing bugs and setting up protocols, this part is about actively supercharging your mental battery for the long haul. So how do we actually boost our power? Well, there's right effort. This is about consciously choosing constructive actions over destructive ones. So when you feel the urge to complain, you could instead just grab a piece of paper and write down 3 things you're grateful for. It feels small, but it helps you get back a sense of control. Next is right mindfulness. This is your tool to break out of autopilot. Instead of just scarfing down your lunch, you actually notice the aroma, the taste. When you're angry, you notice the tension in your shoulders. This simple awareness puts the brakes on anxiety. And finally, right concentration. This is like defragging your mental hard drive. It's often practiced through meditation. Just 10 minutes of focusing on your breath, not chasing every thought that pops up, trains your mind to be less scattered. The result is clearer thinking and a lot more inner peace. Okay, I know. Seeing all 8 of these paths laid out at once can feel like a lot. It can be a little overwhelming. So it's absolutely crucial to remember this one thing. This is not about being perfect. It's about making progress. So let's get really clear on what this OS upgrade isn't. First, this is not some rigid checklist you have to follow to achieve perfection. It's a guide for gradual, gentle improvement. Second, this isn't just religious dogma. It's practical psychology. I mean, concepts like mindfulness are used in therapy all over the world. And third, these 8 settings aren't separate, isolated things. They all work together. They all support each other, kind of like different apps running on the same system. So really, the only question left is, where do you start? What's the one small setting you're going to choose to update first? And the key here is to just treat it like a small, totally manageable experiment. So what could that first experiment look like? Here are a few ideas. Step 1, before you complain, just activate right mindfulness. Take 3 deep breaths and just notice what's happening in your body. Step 2, before your next meeting, try a little right speech. Set one tiny goal. I'm gonna listen completely before I speak. And step 3, before bed tonight, practice a little right thought. Just reflect on one single thing you're grateful for today. See? These are tiny adjustments, but they can have a massive impact. So as we wrap this up, forget about mastering all 8 paths by tomorrow. Just forget that. Instead, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. What is the one small life experiment you'll try today to start your upgrade?